Good morning, traders. This is Shane Scott, the moderator of Newsware's Trade Talk. At Trade Talk, we're providing you with the up-to-the-minute news on the market, along with the facts, themes, and short-term trading ideas for the day ahead. Joining me today is our trading anchor, Bill Olson, who brings over 30 years of institutional trading knowledge to our program. We're going to get things started with our markets update. U.S. futures are ticking lower this morning, with S&P futures down 0.02%, Dow futures flat, and NASDAQ futures down 0.04%. Markets, although in the green earlier, have turned around in a bit of a standoff as investors await details on the Federal Reserve's most recent meeting. Bond yields have slid lower, and the dollar has paused after a 4-day slide, while the 10-year Treasury yield has slipped lower. Expectations for continued central bank support and the strongest world expansion we've seen in the last 40 years has driven stock benchmarks to new heights. Worries about higher borrowing costs destabilizing the market have subsided, with bond yields lowering as traders pull their more aggressive positioning for Fed policy tightening. Elsewhere in markets, oil has held around $59 a barrel amid optimism that the economic expansion will pick up. And over in Europe, the stock 600 index edged lower, while over in Asia-Pacific equities fluctuated, with Toshiba Corp surging after the company received an initial buyout offer from CVC Capital Partners. Bill, what are you seeing as far as market updates?
Well, Shane, I've been watching the S&Ps all morning. They've been higher all morning, and they just turned negative. I mean, they're essentially flat. We're just getting ready for the opening. There's a lot more news coming out over the next 45 minutes, so we'll be keeping an eye out on the markets in this pre-market time. But they're flat because they're really waiting on the meeting minutes from the Federal Reserve's last policy meeting. The market's looking for clues on how the officials are viewing inflation and the pace of the economic recovery. Dallas Fed Bank President Robert Kaplan came out with a really positive note in an interview with the Wall Street Journal that I saw this morning. I also noticed the letter to shareholders from JP Morgan's Jamie Dimon. He noted that the U.S. economy is emerging from the coronavirus pandemic into a boom that could last until 2023. He called it a Goldilocks phase. And later today, President Biden is going to be delivering his second major speech on his $2.25 trillion infrastructure plan today. So we want to keep an eye out for these plays today.
Well, let's go ahead and jump into earnings to watch. Bill, what are we seeing there?
Company RPM, this is ticker RPM, Richard Paul Mary. They delivered a 9-cent beat on higher revenue, and they increased guidance. But you look at the stock this morning, it's actually down a little bit. It was trading higher initially, but it's trading 93.89. They did raise guidance, so it looks good, but something's not right. I got to read the report. And Simply Foods, this is ticker SMPL, Sam, Mary, Paul, Larry. They delivered a 3-cent beat on higher revenue, and they raised guidance. You're seeing that stock trading higher by 0.75% this morning. I'm waiting on Lamb Weston. They're going to be coming out this morning. It's priced for a 7.5% move. The EPS is 52 cents. I know Bank of America is saying, that you want to be long the stock going into earnings. I'm still a little conservative here, knowing that the CEO, said in the last earnings report that North American and European shipments were approximately 85% of the prior year's level. So I'm cautious on this one. There's 3 other companies reporting this week. Stars, Constellation Brands, ticker STZ, Sam Tom Zebra, they're reporting tomorrow morning. The estimate is for $1.52. It's priced for a move of 3.7%. ConAgra releasing tomorrow afternoon. They're also priced for a 3.7% move. Their estimate is 58 cents. That's ticker CAG, Charlie Apple Grace. And Levi Strauss, that's ticker LEVI. They're reporting tomorrow afternoon. They're priced for a 6.9% move into earnings, and the EPS is at 27 cents. Now, Levi's is interesting because they're one of the real few companies that you know is going to be benefiting from the growing e-commerce sales and cost-cutting initiatives that they have initiated during, the COVID-19 crisis. The stock is trading lower than its peers. It still has room to run. So Levi Strauss is very interesting to me. Ticker LEVI, Larry Edward Victor India.
Moving into our economic reports, Bill, what are we seeing as far as reports today?
At 8:30, we have international trades in goods and services. That's a big one. At 10:30 a.m., we have the EIA's oil stockpiles report that will be widely watched. And of course, this afternoon, 2 p.m., the release of the FOMC meeting minutes. There's a lot of Fed speak going on today. There's at 9 a.m., we get the Chicago Fed Bank President Charles Evans speaking at Prairie State College. And at 11 a.m., we have Dallas Fed Bank President Robert Kaplan giving a speech. At 12 p.m. Today, we have the Richmond Fed Bank President Thomas Barkin speaking. And at 1 p.m., San Francisco Fed Bank President Mary Daly will be giving a speech.
Moving into our morning's critical insights, starting things off with one on Alkermes, ticker ALKS. The company has entered into clinical trial collaboration and supply agreement with Merck, ticker MRK, for a planned phase 3 study to evaluate Alkermes' novel immunotherapy treatment in combination with Merck's Keytruda in patients with platinum-resistant ovarian cancer. Alkermes' share price is up 6.23% in pre-market. News on Apex Clean Energy. They'll be replacing their vehicle fleet with XL Fleet, that's ticker XL, electric vehicles in an effort to reduce its carbon emission. XL share price is up 5.14% in pre-market. In other news, Beijing Miss Fresh e-commerce is reportedly considering an IPO in the U.S. that could raise at least $500 million and as much as $1 billion. The grocery delivery startup, which is reportedly backed by Tencent Holdings, is working with advisors to prepare the IPO, which could take place as soon as this year. In other news, Google, ticker GOOGL. The current research manager will be stepping down at the end of this month as a protest against his fired colleagues, including an AI researcher who was fired after raising concerns about the ethical issues related to the company's AI software and urging the company to increase workforce diversity. In other news, Better Therapeutics, a company that treats patients with smartphone apps, is in advanced talks to go public through a reverse merger with Mountain Crest Acquisition, that's ticker MCAD. The SPAC is in talks to raise capital from investors for a $50 million PIPE, and the deal is expected to be announced later this week. Mountain Crest share price is up 1.11% in pre-market. In other news, another merger, Lumera DX, is to become a publicly traded company through SPAC merger valued at $5 billion with California Healthcare Acquisition, that's ticker CAHC. CAHC's share price is up 10.72% in pre-market. News on Chevron, ticker CVX. Chevron signed a deal with Hokkaido Gas to supply the Japanese company with over 500,000 tons of liquefied natural gas over the next 5 years, starting in April 2022. Chevron share price is up 0.63%. News on Beyond Meat, ticker BYND. The company has opened a new manufacturing facility near Shanghai. The new plant is expected to increase the speed and scale in which the company can produce and distribute its products within the region, as well as improve sustainability of operations. Beyond share price is up 2.31%. Lastly, for me, Dr. Reddy, ticker RDY, has launched a new oral solution powder, which is a generic version of Kuvan powder. Bill, what are you seeing as far as this morning's news?
I break my news alerts down into specific events and to specific industries. That way I can really jump on the hot news stories when they come across the tape. My FANG alert went off on Google. Apparently there was a complaint filed in France over Google's advertising tool. The complaint has really essentially accused Google's Android of violating the EU's rules by failing to obtain user consent. I also see Amazon, ticker AMZN, the company, Jeff Bezos, the company's former CEO, said that he supports a hike in the U.S. corporate tax rate as part of the infrastructure overhaul. So that was kind of interesting that Bezos would say that. Apple and Facebook, these are two tech companies that are accelerating their development on computerized glasses for consumers, and a competition really between Facebook and Apple. Remember, these are the AR glasses that we're talking about. And my Dow Jones 30 alert, Walmart, that Flipkart that they own, Flipkart is aiming for an IPO in Q4, it appears. Intel is backing video data firms offering of ad targeting as an alternative to cookies. The option news for today is what I'm seeing is Las Vegas Sands. That's ticker LVS. The 30-day option implied volatility is at 42. Now the 52-week range is 38 to 96. Win, this is Win Casinos. Their 30-day option implied volatility is 46. Now compared to that, to their 52-week range of 45 to 117, looks pretty cheap. Goldman Sachs, they're releasing earnings next week. Their option volatility is at 29. Their 52-week range is 27 to 58. Morgan Stanley's is at 31. Their 52-week range of implied volatility is 30 to 67. So kind of low vol for some of these financial stocks going to be reporting soon. In my FDA alert, ticker FBIO, Frank Boy, India Oscar, they got an upcoming FDA decision, which is expected by Monday, April 12th. Ticker AZN, they paused their COVID-19 vaccine trials to children and teens. Moderna, ticker mRNA, the UK has started rolling out their COVID vaccine 2 weeks ahead of their regular schedule. In guidance, I noticed that the AMAT, shared with in their shareholders meeting yesterday, they shared some projections of 2024 guidance, and it was a very conservative model, and it was forecasting a $26.7 billion revenue, which, compared to this year's revenue of $17.2 billion, it's lighter than you would expect considering, how the PE ratio on the stock. But everybody's coming out there and they're saying, you know what, this is a low, this is a conservative, you need to be buying AMAT. So I was very interested to see that. Events today, I see AMD. This is Advanced Micro Devices. They got a shareholders meeting at 12:30 p.m. today. Lennar, this is the home builder, ticker LEN. They have a shareholders meeting today at 11. And then Intel is a company-sponsored event where they're going to be discussing the latest hardware and software in their portfolio. Late last night, looks like the New York State officials have approved the online sports betting, which was good news for tickers like Penn, PENN, Paul, Edward, Nancy. However, yesterday during the day, there was a rumor floating around that there was a private tape of the CEO, and that just dropped the stock 10%, which was a huge buying opportunity. The guy tweeted out, "Are you kidding me?" So Penn looks like they're going to be recovering from some of their losses that they saw in yesterday's action.
Moving into our trade talk picks for today, I'm picking Dr. Reddy, ticker RDY, which has launched, like we mentioned, a new oral solution powder, a generic version of Kuvan powder. That's cool news. It's good news. I think we can see some positivity. What's your pick looking like, Bill?
Well, I'm going with AMD, Advanced Micro Devices, ticker AMD, Apple Michael David. That shareholders meeting could prove very interesting today. I'm planning on playing the run up into the meeting. I do see a call put ratio of 3 to 1 on yesterday's volumes, which I find is interesting. So I'm really expecting this thing to start to move. AMD in the pre-market is up 12 cents. Yeah, this thing could easily move 1% or $1 today. So I'm watching shares of AMD.
Well, moving into what's hot off the press, this is the news that's hitting the tape as we speak that will be moving the stocks today. So looking at our newswire alerts and seeing everything streaming in, Bill, which are the headlines we should be letting traders know about?
Well, I saw one on Verizon just now. Verizon Fios, they're adding new Spanish language regional content to their packages. And Moderna, ticker mRNA, they're on track to meet their COVID-19 vaccine supply goals in Europe.
One on Accenture, ticker ACN. They've just acquired Core Competes.
Here's one on Intel. Ticker INTC. Morgan Stanley's not too positive on this new server chip that they just released. The server chip is their Ice Lake server chip. If you remember, it's been, in design for years, and the rollout keeps getting pushed back, but it was rolled out yesterday. But the other guys that are providing server chips really have a big lead on them these days.
One on UPS, ticker UPS. The company plans to purchase electric vertical takeoff and landing aircrafts from Beta Technologies.
Here's one, on President Biden. Biden is seeking to ease the housing shortage with looser zoning rules.
One on Bally's, ticker BALY. The company just completed acquisition of Montbleu Resort Casino.
Here's one on Tesla, TSLA. Morgan Stanley's coming out and saying that the EV infrastructure plan could possibly expand Tesla's advantage.
Anything else interesting for you, Bill?
No, that's all I'm seeing.
Same here. So that's going to do it for what's hot off the press. Traders, keep in mind you can receive the same breaking stories that we do simply by subscribing at newswire.com. Check us out for a free trial today. It will definitely up your trading game. Moving into our scoreboard, talking about how our picks did from Tuesday. I had Applied Sciences, ticker AMAT, which opened at $143.88 and closed at $139.54. The drop really came at the meeting, exactly like we thought something would happen at the meeting. We were expecting positivity, but the conservative guidance they gave for 2024 caused some people to drop the stock. I'm sure we'll see a rebound from that today or this week, but for now, that was the result of that. How's your pick end up doing, Bill?
Well, I did one with Goldman yesterday, ticker GS, Goldman Sachs. Stock opened up at 324.49 and ran up to 328.54. And that was like in the first 15 minutes. That move beat the daily expectations of $1, 1%. In fact, it beat both of them. Stock ended up closing higher by $3.60 to $327.15.
Nice. Well, that's going to do it for us here at Trade Talk. The traders, you know what to do. Let's get out there. Let's make some green.